is fucking ballsack today. So I don't know. We'll see. If I come up, then you'll know. Welcome, ladies and germs. I'm gonna mute myself and go for a D. Do that thing you do.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the safety meeting. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You have to be 21 and over to be here. If not, you have to get the flying fuck out of here. That means you little boy back here. I see you! Out
He
in
sees you.
Z!
He sees you when
Back
you
to
are
you.
sleeping. He sees you when you are awake. It's D, aka Santa Claus. We just
Ah!
discovered it. Oh no! I just ruined the surprise for millions of children who are not supposed to be watching the show anyway. So we didn't actually ruin the surprise. Look at that. Problem solved. Ladies and germs, crisis averted, right? Oh no, Christmas is ruined. No, it's not, because all those kids are not here because they're not supposed to watch the show, right? Right? Yeah, you see. All the kids that now know that D is Santa Claus, well, it's their own fault. Honestly, it's their own fault. They were breaking the rules. That's their punishment, basically. Christmas is ruined for them because they shouldn't have been watching the show. Cheers, J5. Cheers, Jones N2 Grow. Good to see you, everybody.
Whoa! 35 is still
Welcome,
alive.
Johnny Five in the house. Welcome,
What?
everybody. Ladies and germs, let me post the link. Oh, there's Christophe. Bonjour, Christophe, or bonsoir.
So
Always confused at the time. What's that, Smash?
I'm going to be testing this rosin.
Nice.
Test it like a
Testing. Testing.
horse or like your mama. Where'd my links go? Here we go.
Mm.
Testing it like a biblical god tests his followers
Mexico.
or sheep or some shit. I don't know.
I just need to get
Like they
taste
tested
and
Jacob.
effect.
What's that,
It
Smash?
smells good. It smells crazy.
Right on.
Your mom smells crazy, but it doesn't stop people from spending time with her. So I'm not sure. I was saying this before the show. I'm not sure if North Star's coming on this Wednesday or if he's coming on next Wednesday. I actually didn't clarify it with him. I should have, and I just regret not doing that with him yesterday. So he's either coming on today or he's coming on next week. We'll see. It'll be a nice surprise, ladies and gentlemen. So, ta-da! Either you have a conversational show where you can hop on, or maybe he'll stop on. I don't know. It's still fairly early. I'm guessing maybe because he's not here already, because he's a pretty punctual guy, that maybe he's coming on next week. Maybe I'll text him and we'll clarify it. But in the meantime, ladies and germs, don't forget to check out what's his website again? Genetic
Text them.
Supply, I think it is. Don't forget to check my website, though, ladies and gentlemen. First, fumidoro.com. I just got a bunch of announcements from Squarespace. They bought the Google domains and whatever. It's amazing, all the weird shit that Google's given up. I've been a customer of Google for so many years, and just one after another, they're giving up their own business. It's so bizarre. Bad news for me because I'm going to end up having to spend more money. Squarespace has better customer service because Google has basically no customer service. Squarespace at least has decent customer service, but it's going to cost more per website. So that's kind of annoying, but whatever. So use the websites that I pay for, ladies and germs, fumidoro.com, fumesofgold.com goes to the same place, just redirects.
Oh.
What's some of the other ones? I can't remember honestly right now. I'll have to look them up again. But in the meantime, because I've been just saying Fumidoro for so long, go take a look, ladies and gentlemen. We have merch on there like this. See me modeling my Sour Morgana shirt. Maybe a little bit later, in about an hour, the lights will turn on. I'm still keeping the schedule. The lights will turn on. Maybe I'll show Sour Morgana before I chop her, probably finally today. And got a stunning plant, so I think it's worth showing her, honestly. That's the technically Sour Morgana 3 out of a selection I did. I honestly wish I remember. I popped the seeds and actually did the selection at the old house. It was so much bullshit. My notes are in storage and everything else. So I honestly don't remember how many seeds I popped. It was around 25 or 30, something like that. So it wasn't a huge selection. It wasn't as deep as the Black Prince Ruby selection that I talked about for quite some time. But it definitely was, I think, ample to get a feeling for the strain. So I was really happy about the results that I pulled out, basically. Didn't pull out any duds, didn't pull out any, what's the word I'm looking for? Runts, didn't pull out any, had great germination. I think I got basically 99 or 100% germination. So that was super cool. Oh, look at that. I think that might actually be, we may change his name really quickly.
I was going to say if you text North Star, you should
Let's
send him the text and be
change.
like, "But we are live right now. If you're not doing anything."
There he is. There's North Star. There we
Hello.
go. Just renamed him. Welcome, North Star. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, doing all right. What a pleasant surprise. It's rare that a guest reaches out and say, "Hey, can I come on the show?" And I'm like, "Well, the hell yeah, you can. What the heck?"
You know what? I'm trying to make it a point to be more regular on shows just
There
because
you
I
go.
really can't stand freaking social media and getting on there. And so I'm like, let me just divert some time away from that and go on shows more. I'd rather just talk to somebody
I
anyway.
dig it. I dig it.
And, shooting videos, I feel like a freaking fool half the time trying to make a video to get sound cool, whatever. So I just fucking forget it.
I
I
dig
can't,
it.
it's so annoying.
Right on. Here, let me quickly change the name and we'll say North Star. I don't know. I'll figure out the name. Look
Just
at that.
call me Joel. I go by Joel.
There you go. Right on. Cheers, Joel. By the way, let's say hello to everybody. I think I was just kind of babbling and mindlessly whatever. Let's say hello to the panel. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Joel is here for the conversation. So, folks, welcome to hop on here. Uh, if you've never been on the panel before, try to ask nicely in the chat before, because if we see random names hop on, probably not going to allow them, or basically we'll clarify in the chat. So we're going to do this kind of, I don't know, guest rules plus or something, whatever. If you guys have been watching for a long time, feel free to hop on. Just sort of ask nicely in the chat if you can. Throw us some questions in the chat. Questions for Joel himself. Throw them down, ladies and gentlemen. Tag either D, tag me. If Smash is still here, tag him, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, tag us, and of course, do hop on and join us. D, what's going on, my friend? Welcome.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, panel? Hope everyone's having a great day. I won't be here for too much longer, unfortunately. I have some prior engagements to do with Mrs. D's family. Unfortunately, so I'll have to rewatch this awesome, awesome uh um safety meeting again afterwards when I get home. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm smoking on same old mochi, and I've got some McFlurry. This is gonna be an awesome interview, like always when we have North Star on.
All
Um,
right.
and just yeah, like Fumero says, if anyone has any questions, don't forget to tag Fumi or Smashed in the chat, and yeah, be able to ask them. Hope everyone has a great day.
Cheers,
Cheers.
D. Good to see you, buddy.
Indeed.
Smash, what's going on, bud?
Just hanging out, man. Doing the judging thing, trying to get through the rest of this
That's a
before the
fun one.
date.
That would actually be fun to talk to North Star about too, because I was thinking like, oh man, we've asked him a ton of stuff. It sounds like he's here to just have a conversation and stuff and not be assaulted with questions. But still, how do I say this? We need to have interesting
I'm
things to talk about,
glad to
right?
talk
And I
about
was thinking
anything.
like, that's kind of, oh my, is my internet shit? Can you guys hear me or no?
No, you're
I'm all
good. You're good.
paranoid. All right, I'm all paranoid these days because my internet's been super poopy. This is kind of a fun concept, the idea of judging weed. What weed is better, what weed is worse, right? Who better actually? Oh shit, North Star's connection is, I think, bad. Who better to talk to that than North Star? He's a guy who's really well known for identifying and talking about and breeding for flavors. Yeah, it's an interesting idea because I've heard people smash. I've heard people say before that you can't really judge weed, that it affects everybody differently. I mean, there's truth in what people say about this, that it does affect people differently. And so as a result, it's too subjective, blah, blah, blah. I think that's wrong. I think that the weed is a bell curve, and I think people's reaction to weed is a bell curve like that too. So some people feel one way about a particular strain, Triangle Kush or something, right? Some people get super sleepy on it. Some people won't get super sleepy, but there's going to be a bell curve of responses. And I think overall, you can still judge weed. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Smashed? You're obviously going through it right now.
I agree. I do think it like especially with the mixed the entourage effects with the terpenes and the CBD and the THC. I do think it hits people a little differently, but like you're saying, I think they're like good weed's good weed. And
Mm,
you should
Exactly.
be like, even if you don't like that type of weed, you know it's good weed. You know what
mm.
I mean?
Damn right. Dead
Uh,
on.
Do you
oh,
feel
let
the
me grab
same
my
way, Joel?
coffee.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's different flavors for different strokes for sure. And my idea of what really good pot might be is different from somebody else's.
Mm,
But something good quality versus bad quality is whether it's your flavor or not, it's still good quality. You can pick that out.
mm,
Just because something might not have the terp profile you prefer, or it's not gonna give you the zoomies or knock you out or whatever, doesn't mean it's not good. It's just not about your personal flavor. But as far as judging it goes, if it's mature, it's not scraggy, not trimmed up half decent. It's not moldy. Obviously, it's clean, high terpene level, good cannabinoid levels, smokes clean. It's good bud. Doesn't have to be your personal favorite, but it's still good bud.
I guarantee you, I'm the only judge with like lights and my scope or my like jeweler's loop. Look,
Can you really guarantee? No, I'm just joking. What was I going to say? A few years ago, I don't know. Well, granted, I don't spend all that much time shopping at dispensaries, so I guess I don't know if this terp is still around. It probably still around now I think about it. But I think I encountered this terp basically when I was judging a contest a number of years ago. I don't remember which one it was. It wasn't at my show. Like I had a tasting group. It wasn't at my tasting group. Maybe it was, like a High Times or something like that kind of thing. But there were a bunch of samples that had this very kind of popcorn butter flavor to it, and I've always disliked that flavor. I'm
Yeah.
in popcorn juice. Is my internet pooping out?
yeah, it did shit out for like a second.
Did it shit out for a second? Fucking internet.
Just
Anyway,
briefly.
well, okay, I'll try to summarize, I guess. I don't like the popcorn butter flavor. I can't remember the chemical that they use to flavor vape juices, but that's a very popular vape juice flavor, even to this day. It's like this, oh, fuck, I can't think of the name. Somebody in the chat will say. And there were a number of strains. I wish I could think of them right now, but there were a number of strains that had this terp profile dominantly in there, this kind of overall buttery sensation, but in a really kind of fake way. And at the time, I remember thinking, "Oh, I wonder if this is flavored with artificial garbage." And to this day, I kind of think it might have been,
Yeah.
right? Because it came up so many times. But those samples, I think, probably were super popular. So I don't know. I ended up basically judging them kind of a little bit better than I would have. I don't know. In the end, I guess this is a strange story with not that much of a punchline because I don't really remember if those samples won. But how do I put it? Like, I didn't judge them negatively just because I didn't like that particular profile. I remember thinking really weird things about them because I was like, is that really from cannabis? I mean, I assumed that it probably was, but all these years later, I'm like, oh, I've never really encountered that since then, except for in like vape juices. So I'm like, did they literally just like spray some shit on the bud? I don't know. There was this one platinum purple kush that I remember was so perfumed that as time has gone by, I've started to think like, yeah, they actually sprayed it with something. Like they sprayed it with some terpenes or whatever else. Like it was so, so, so loud. But anyway, I'm babbling. I don't know. I don't know why I'm monopolizing the conversation. It's just interesting to talk about sort of the best and most memorable samples of weed. That was definitely one that stuck out to me for a long time. Platinum Purple Kush.
So,
Either it was one of the most amazing flowers I've ever smoked, or it was juiced like freaking Lance Armstrong.
so all right, here's my judging criteria. Here's the judging criteria they gave me. I got appearance, smell, taste, smoke, effective, bud structure. 1 out of 5. It's hard to do bud structure, especially on like a gram of weed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Depends on how it's trimmed. Yeah, that's for sure.
Um, a lot of these haven't had a crazy smell. They're right about average, not
Hmm.
less, and nothing super loud yet. Um, Actually, the last sample I did was probably the best looking. It got, I don't want to like say too much, but for appearance, the last sample, number 3, I got a 4 out of 5, and then on smoke, it got a 4 out of 5.
I'm actually curious. This is something perhaps North Star might be able to talk about. This has come up a number. How to summarize this basically? This has come up a number of times where we've talked about weed, for example, a judging kit of weed that comes out and it's not super loud. And I'm always surprised by this because I'm like, gosh, good weed is always loud. And I think back to myself like, I don't know. I don't know about all you guys. I think North Star is a pretty put together guy, but some of us are a little bit lazy. I've definitely left some weed hanging sometimes and not trimmed it for an excessively long time that I would like to not admit
Let's
how
go
long it was.
downstairs.
Right? I would just rather not talk about how long that was, but we'll just laugh about how long that could be, right? And then multiply it by two. But anyway, in the meantime, I've left weed hanging, right? But when
I
it's
hear that.
good weed, when it's grown well, when I've cracked that embarrassingly long hanging, like it's over dry, and there's probably even, I don't know, maybe spiders walked over it or some shit, right? You crack open the nug and it's still loud. Like it's still loud. It didn't evaporate everything because there's an integrity, I presume, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we should have a cell wallologist or something for fucking plants come on here. But I'm curious, like when you have well-grown, strong plants, they don't seem to randomly off-gas all their volatile compounds. They'll off-gas some of it, and of course, that plant is less loud than it was when you first chopped it
Yeah.
down. But it's still really loud. And as soon as you crack open the bud, all those trichomes that were stuck in the middle, they release all their juices that are still filled with aromatic compounds that are incredibly loud. So I'm surprised. And I guess this is where I'm going to. I'm surprised when I hear Smash say, oh, none of these are very loud. And I've had the same experience when I've done judging kits. You crack open a nug and it's not very loud. And I'm like, well, so this wasn't grown very well. In my mind, the trichome heads filled or they evaporated through a tremendous amount of time.
He's got like a
You know, these
tangy
fucking
smell.
junk calls. Anyway, a long-winded question, but what do you have? Do you have thoughts on that, North Star, about, I don't know
Yeah,
how,
it's a lot to
go ahead.
the drying. For sure. I mean, you grow it great, but if you don't, if it's not properly cured, or like you said, if you leave it hanging, as long as the conditions in that area where you're keeping it at don't fluctuate a lot, you're not
Right.
having high humidity, low humidity, temperatures are fluctuating. You have less chances for the trichomes to volatilize and lose a lot of that. I think so that's why obviously when you have it when you keep it in a jar, it's sealed. It's not given a chance to interact with the atmosphere and is constantly changing the environment it's in. So it could just be exactly it was it's not being cured or dried properly. It's just being like I've seen old books where they tell you to cure your bud in a cardboard box with holes in it and shit. So I mean, if they're going by that method, then you're gonna end up having cardboard tasting bud at the end with
or
um
the competition.
doesn't matter how they grew it too. Could
It
just be
seems like the competition too, though. Sometimes, like this one, you never know how the competition got the weed and how they stored it.
Mm.
Because like I can tell this stuff's super dry. Like they probably didn't
Yeah.
get it this dry. You know what I mean?
Could
And
be that too, or how they break it up
Yeah,
and put it
that's
in
a
different
shame.
jars for every example. How they're handling it.
hmm
They're riding around with it for a week in the back of their truck or something.
Right. Well, wasn't that the crazy controversy last year, I guess, or maybe it was even 2 years ago with that Oklahoma Cowboy something or other, Cowboy Cup.
With
I
mold.
guess yeah, it was moldy, the weed was moldy, and it turns
Jordy
out that
Edwards.
the weed was just stored really poorly. It was stored in the back of a truck at one point. I guess it got rained on and all that. Just
Yeah.
shabby. Yeah, I can't even remember all the weird shit that happened to it, but basically shabbily treated weed, right? Instead of what you would think in a competition, oh, it was delicately handed off, kind of like the Olympics, like the flame, basically like from one judge to the other. No, no, no. It was just like thrown at each other, basically.
That was a big problem with the older Emerald Cup when they used to have it
Uh,
all the time in the beginning of December. Well, if it was outdoor cup specifically then. So if you're growing outdoor, you're growing sativa.
hmm,
How can you harvest something that's going to come down in the middle of, or beginning of November and actually have it trimmed and dried and cured
hmm,
and looking good to drop it off for
right,
the beginning of December? It's like you don't have the time.
right.
It's why they need to have that event like all the time. Just have it in the new year, right after everyone's
Hmm,
had a chance to have your bud trimmed and cured, and give it a few weeks in the jar there at least before you hand it off. Because
hmm,
I knew friends that were working on breaking up the bud in the sample packages and then testing themselves. And a lot of times it was wet bud still. It
hmm.
was dropping stuff off. They just harvested, just brought off the drying racks, trimmed, and brought it to them right away. It was not really ready to be jarred up yet. It was just the time frame people were working on sometimes. It's kind of screwed
Um,
that over a bit.
it's I
Whatever
know
I'm
what you're trying to
smoking,
say. Go ahead, Smash.
whatever I'm smoking right now definitely has tangy in it. So it's like a purple bud with like straight orange.
Some people hate that. It's funny to say. I love I don't know. I love a lot of different profiles in cannabis, but orange is really polarizing. Orange and lemon both. A lot of people really don't like it. I was just going to mention lemon, honestly, because I was just I barely have some dry nugs that I can start smoking, and I was thinking how when nugs are first fresh, even when they're not cured or anything, if the weed is good, oh my gosh, what a joy it is to smoke it, right? Like if it's not, it has a little bit different flavor. It's a little bit more like the fresh harvest smell kind of the weed, right? It's still different because it's still dried out for a few days, but oh, I love that
I
fresh
have people.
of sensation of the weed.
There's like
Go ahead.
if I give a good grower something I've taken down a week later, they like a week earlier or like even 2 weeks, they can smell it. Um, and going back to like competitions, like me, you, we all know that like curing and drying is one of the vital parts. So we set up an area that's like ideal temperatures and humidities. So we can technically leave bud in there and it shouldn't, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
after a while it's gonna evaporate. Like I think I've had a bud down there since the last harvest hanging up. Um, and I'm just gonna throw it in my hash plant when I make hash next time because it's not bad. It's my room's under 60 degrees. It's like, well, it's right at 60. And then the humidity is right at 50, 55. So it's just
That's
kind
a
of
good point. It's not like I left the weed hanging out in a summer barn or some shit. That would be a little bit different. Yeah. That'd
Not in the
be
garage.
challenging for any kind of weed to survive that. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Well, I think
Uh,
if people actually do a lot of their growing in buildings that aren't so great, or like shipping containers or garages, and then
true,
drying in a similar
true.
situation. So it's
Yeah,
50 degrees at night, 90 during the day, and they have their bud and they're drying, and bud's like, "What the hell are you doing?
right.
You're killing me
How
here."
funny.
I've seen people like they have a whole ass room and it's like there's no I don't see any cooling to this room. There's a bunch of fans. They harvest their outdoor crop. They put it in a dark room with a bunch of fans, but it's not. It's like a
Right.
shed, so it's gonna get warm in there during the
Yeah, it's
day,
gonna
no
be
matter
hot.
what. You know what I mean? Especially in like Northern Calif or Southern California or whatever.
Good thing the YouTube stream is recorded too, because I forgot to press record on my freaking field recorder until just now. So half the show is going to be YouTube freaking quality, and then the rest of it, I guess, we'll have the freaking the good quality. Anyway, it is what it is.
I found a
I
pack of
forgot.
your West Coast sour diesel
Oh, North Stars.
and stuff um, the other day, which is really cool. It says from the Volt Seeds,
Okay, which one was that?
Right on.
West Coast sour D.
Oh, West Coast. Yeah, that's the East
Um,
Coast cross to the Frisco.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
someone gifted them to me. I think Miranda Family Farms actually gifted them to me.
Hmm.
there's a lot of fun
That's
stuff in that.
plausible. I
Lots
go
of
that.
real harsh, chemically gassy
Hmm.
rubber
Mm,
plastic gas.
that's what I
Stank.
like. I'm looking for
Hmm.
that like stank rubber, asphalt.
Yeah, it's got a lot of that in there. The Frisco male is really heavy on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pop that smashed. Some of the other stuff you've been growing is going to be wonderful hash weed and stuff, but I don't think it's going to be up your alley high wise. I think that's going to be more up your alley that way. Um,
See, I don't care much for the rubbery kind of stuff myself. Like the
hmm,
orange strains that lend towards the burnt rubber side of the orange. I like the sweeter side of the orange when
hmm,
it comes to orange strains. When like the Frisco stuff, I'll always pick out the ones that are more OG leaning than the this nasty chemical smell and
hmm.
flavor. So that's just that same thing, personal preference. Um, when I grow a test run of them out and I have several of each, I'll still smoke the other ones. Like I'm not going to smoke them because I don't like them. I don't like them as much, but they still fuck you up. It's like good as hell. So it's not always about have to be the perfect smoke for you all the time. But when you end up growing out, like I do a test run of 20 plants, I'm going to smoke them all. I'm not going to waste them. So get to experience smoking the you know, different spectrums of the orange, and you can smoke through all of them, and you really get to see what you like the most. But you can appreciate why people would like the other ones. Or the high's a little different, or it lingers different in your mouth. So
Let me throw a curveball. How would you design, if you would, this might not be your breeding style or anything else. How would you design, I guess you just said the perfect smoke. So let's just say the perfect smoke. What that is, of course, is up for debate, but how would you design the Merlot of future cannabis, or I don't know, the Cabernet Sauvignon or whatever, right? Like you want to create a varietal that is so good that half the West Coast starts growing it or some shit. I don't know. What would that look like if it's possible?
So I
Well,
just
I
pulled
think
it.
it's going to be
Sorry.
different for different people. Oh, go ahead. I'll say it's going to be different for different people. Obviously, for me, it would be something that's got I like a lot of earthy, piney, um, not so
Earthy.
much sweet, but more of a drier type of a background to it. Um, I'd probably start with looking for. I try to lock down the buzz, what I want.
Hmm.
I feel it's a little easier to mess with the flavors than it is the actual stone. So I'd have to make sure I can get a I like a more uplifting sativa type, active feeling, a little more visual, psychedelic kind of feel to the smoke. So I would definitely look for something in that line and then try to find that within that line I'm working with, what I can be closest towards the flavor I'm shooting towards and the flowering time. So I just try to pick out of that, and then I'd go into different strains that focus on the flavor I like the most. I'd bring all the different things I like, flavor, the buzz, and bring those strains together, mix them around, and then start doing larger pools of seed starts out of the mix of those genes, and pretty much at some point it's going to be a crapshoot to whether you plant enough seeds to find exactly what you want and what you think is the perfect. Then you start breeding with that plant.
That's a great answer.
More than likely, you're going to find something that's close to what you're looking for. So you find something that's got pretty good on the flavor, but the high is really good. The flavor's not quite there. And you have likewise another plant that's got the flavor is perfect, but the high isn't quite there. So you might mix them two together and see if you can't get them to mix a little better, so they both lend your favorite parts to it. It's a lot of hit and miss and planting lots of seeds. See how you're doing.
Like me and you, like I'm totally different. I want the sedative hallucinogen. I want to be so like couch stuck. I'm hallucinating. But I also I have ADHD and stuff, which the sedative stuff really helps me calm down and relax.
All right, makes sense. Put the mind at ease a little bit.
No, it's an interesting answer. I mean, that's obviously the very complicated answer. I think people would always in the this actually relates to something I was thinking about earlier today. I don't know, is it worth going into? Yeah, maybe it is worth going into. How oftentimes it's very difficult to talk about advanced concepts. And I was just kind of thinking to myself over this cup and just over a different cup of coffee. I was thinking to myself, why is it so difficult to talk about difficult concepts like in weed or in photography or anything else? And I thought to myself, oh, on some level, it's because those things are, when you speak about something, it's at best an analog for the thing that you're doing. And when you get to an advanced level of something, you'd have to have an advanced analog to actually to depict it. Like if you're talking about advanced growing or advanced winemaking or advanced public speaking or whatever the fuck you're talking about, you'd have to be speaking about it at a very advanced level to even analogize that. Oh, this is too complicated. I'm explaining this too complicatedly.
Even talking about it's hard.
The point, yeah, exactly. Basically, it's hard to talk about hard topic things, is what I'm trying to say. I'm babbling about it like a crazy person because in the end, it's difficult to talk about difficult things, and it's easier to just do them, which is less entertaining to talk about. Like when how do I put this? If you want, basically, like Yoda said, just do it. Basically, if you want to do a thing, just fucking do it. And where I'm going to with that is, if you want to create an advanced strain or a wonderful strain, like I was just describing, the perfect smoke, the only substitution is to actually do it. You can't ever actually debate it or talk about it anymore. At that point, you can only really practice it, basically. It's a very interestingly Zen concept. I kind of stopped and thought, I was like, oh, that, some of my Zen friends would really like that. You have to just do, basically, instead of, it's like the state of being, right? Like accepting reality or something. You can't really talk about these advanced things. You just have to do them. Anyway, I'm babbling like a crazy person, but I guess where I'm going to with that is there's no easy answer when you say, oh, tell me about the perfect smoke. Well, I could tell you what I think it is and da da da, but the only way that I could answer that question is by actually spending 5 years breeding it, and then I could share it with you, and then you would know it was the perfect smoke. That's an interesting concept, right?
And then you get even further with that, the perfect smoke might be perfect all the time.
That's true
might
too.
Not be perfect smoke out by the
but
coast,
it's morning and it's raining.
Perfect smoke for the perfect situation. So then it comes into a whole just what's your
That's
current
correct.
state of being? The perfect smoke today might be different than the perfect smoke next year.
By the time you spend 5 years, you're like, fuck, this would have been perfect 5 years ago.
Exactly. I could have used this then. Yeah. Now it's now.
That's it, exactly. When I was listening to that one song on the radio, God freaking damn it. We've got a
Yeah.
practical question from J5 in the chat. By the way, hop on J5. I don't know why you're puddling around in the cheap seats out there. J5 says, question, between Astra Snaps and Purgatory, which one finishes earlier, or are they around the same flower time?
I would say the Purgatory is going to finish a little earlier with the Quirkle being the male. As far as the difference between the moms, they're both fairly about 10 weekers. That the Frisco Snaps in the Hell, so it doesn't make much difference there. I think Quirkle finishes a little quicker than Space Dude crosses in some of them, so I would go with that one basically. Not gonna be that much different though, I don't think. Probably maybe a few days. I mean, I would think both of them are going to be a solid 9-week flowering. So
J5 has a nice greenhouse. Gosh, he grew a nice amount of plants last year. I guess I don't want to say out loud how big the greenhouse is, but it's a pretty big, pretty decent sized greenhouse, honestly. He had some nice plants, so he'll definitely have some good luck with it this year.
I've seen some
Folks, chat questions.
yeah,
Throw them in the chat. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've seen bigger yielding stuff from the Astro Snaps. If that has any leading on which way they're interested in going, but I've seen just bigger, juicier buds from the Astro Snaps than the Purgatory.
Limit Master grew that years ago. Gosh, that was a long time ago. That was 5 or 6 years ago. He grew Astra Snaps and took pics for one of Subcool's photo contests, I think.
Oh,
I
nice.
can't remember how that worked. Was it a tester for Sub? I don't know. That was way long time ago. But I remember Limit Master from where is he from? Indiana or Illinois or somewhere. He grew these they were like grenades, basically. They were just a stunning crop. He had this really cool, and he unfortunately got busted and had to tear it all down. But he had this wonderful barn that he basically built for himself. Well, the barn I think he didn't build, but he built the lights into the barn ceiling, and it was like what do they call it, cove ceiling or whatever. So he had light panels. Basically, he did a lot of DIY LEDs. So you had the LEDs basically like in a curved ceiling all the way down the almost like a bowling alley basically of grow. It was only a couple trays, but it was like a bowling alley of light basically on top of the trays, and it created this just absolute canopy of grenades. It was amazing. Those Aster Snaps looked freaking stunning. That must have been a few pounds, not even just a couple. That was a few pounds in that area. That was good growing, honestly. The folks, seriously, throw down some questions in the chat. Joel's here to have a nice conversation, but I'm sure he'd be willing to answer some questions about anything he's worked on or been breeding. Go for it.
I've had this happen to me. Like I've said, hopefully I was asking somebody about the same question here. Root aphids, start with. Pain in the ass. Now, over the past 5 or 6 years, 3 times, including this happened last week to me, they've mutated and have traveled out of the soil and climbed up the plant. Just the one plant. I knew I had the root aphids. I saw them in the plug. I treated it. I was like, all right, I'm planting you guys anyway. Kept that tray over here. I'm like, all right, you son of bitches, I'm going to see if we can't just get you against a little botanic garden in the soil, try to nuke them. And a week later, whatever, one plant all of a sudden got aphids on it. I'm like, you kidding me? I have 100 plants in the garden. It's one plant by itself. It's only not even a foot tall, 8 inches tall. Aphids on it, and then it came out of the soil. You can still see them walking up the stem coming out of the soil. Now, these things are really easy to treat. They don't seem to reproduce that well on the plant itself. They don't really do much damage. They stack with the plant, but I don't see the plant like wilt because they're chewing it. So I just spray them off and they're done with. But second, that has happened 3 times in the past 5 years where I've known I've had root aphids in a said plant. The plant has been treated, and it's like the root aphids are like revolting, like last ditch effort to get away from the toxins is to flee the pot. Like they're literally crawling up the plant and they're all over the plant.
That's some interesting shit.
No one else has seen that before that I have asked yet. Had that happen to them where they've had root aphids actually migrate, or I don't know whether they mutate or they're just trying to escape.
That's root aphids are kind of my nightmare. What do you think, green fingers? Have you ever had root aphids? Those things are, oh, they're so hard to treat. At least in my case, they were so hard to treat. Oh man, I wouldn't wish those on my enemies.
Botanic Guard WP works really well. The wettable
Does
powder,
it?
I use it both in the
Huh,
soil and the spray. Usually 2 treatments about a week apart.
right
It's
on.
a really good on them, and then the nymphs, it gets all the life cycles of them,
Hmm.
and then just keep a good eye on stuff. But it does a really good job on them.
Thankfully, like you say, there are a few. There's also what PFR 97. There's something else these days that I guess you can rotate, so that's pretty good. Green Fingers, can you hear us?
Mic check 1, 2.
I can barely hear you. My
Oh,
mic
right on.
can
Can you hear me?
I hear
put
you.
my headphones in. I think I could. Oh, there goes the mic.
Green Fingers has got a menagerie of doggies. Pardon me.
So there's companies working with UV and lights going on 15 minutes before the lights turn on. They have a UV light turn on in the garden, and 15 minutes after the light turns on off, it's a UV light. And supposedly the bugs really don't like it at all, and they try to go away from them and move down. So that's pretty
Well, but the
interesting.
UV won't penetrate the soil, right?
No,
So it's not really going to help with root. What bug does it help with?
it's new. These are just new studies happening, and I
Oh,
just
I
think
see.
it's kind of cool that things like people are really trying to work on it.
Gotcha.
I just pulled up chat. Sorry, I moved to my computer because I noticed there was a bunch of people in chat, and there's a lot of stuff. I didn't know there was any questions or anything.
Testing.
We can hear you. Go for it, Green Fingers.
Cheers.
Nice. We can hear you. What's going on, buddy?
Good stuff. Just here, just popped those Death Row last night from North Star.
Nice.
I'm excited about those. Just getting ready to smoke something with you guys.
Sweet.
Not sure what though.
Cheers. I'm gonna have a
Cheers.
dab of this papaya that I've been puffing on. Gosh, I'm actually on the
Oh,
tail end of it. I've only got maybe a third of the gram left. I'm gonna buy some more. It smells lovely though. Just a hint. I guess this is definitely from that kind of Oni family of breeding, because I remember I met Oni. This is now years ago at one of the um Indo Expo, I guess it was, and I bought some seeds from him, and he was laughing because he had this just jar filled with hash, I don't know, 15, 20 grams of beautiful, beautiful blonde hash, way before everybody had this, incredibly white hash. He was probably freeze drying before everybody else. Anyway, the best part was that it was so tropical, but also smelled distinctively of baby diapers, like filled baby
Oh.
diapers. And he just starts laughing as like, because when you smell it, like you're like, oh, it's gonna be super fruity. So you take a big old whiff of it, and it's literally like taking a whiff of a full diaper. And he just laughed and laughed and laughed because he's like, oh yeah, it's my favorite terp. So I'm like, yeah, there's just a little bit of that full poopy diaper in there. That cracks me up. Anyway.
sounds like Apollo.
Yeah, there you go. Do you like those what do they call them? Fecal notes
They're all right.
on good cannabis?
Baby poo.
Yeah, all the tests that I did from the Vortex, a lot of them had a background of
Yeah.
like a manure, baby poo kind of thing going on.
Right.
Pretty
I don't
consistent
know.
across.
Yeah. I
I
have
don't
the
know
F2
about
of
the
the Vortex. Smells like poop.
I don't know about the poop phenos, but I like the like skunky phenos. Like roadkill skunk. It's hard to find now, obviously, but that was one of my favorite terps of all time.
Nice. Excuse me.
Look at some of my last 3D right here. Running out of that. Have to get some more going soon.
What's the 3D?
Third dimension.
Third dimension.
Olive Jack Ripper.
He's like, oh, I just took a dab. That papaya is hitting him just right now.
Sounds good.
Uh, Hope everyone in chat's having a good day. Thank you, North Star, for joining us.
Pleasure having spoke with you guys.
Yeah, what a
Good.
nice surprise. We should make this a regular thing. Of course, I should try to remember to actually press record so we can actually put it on the podcast. It's okay. I could download the whole episode, but super annoying that I didn't think to do that beforehand, but whatever we can do.
My buddy just bought 2 acres, put a house on the property. 2 acres is a lot of land once you get down and like you're walking it. I didn't even realize, but it looks like I was like, you should start a farm. Put some greenhouses up. Start putting
I was just gonna say 2 acres, it's a lot and it's not, like it's a lot of land, but also when you start to put a bunch of greenhouses on it, suddenly it's not a lot of land anymore. It's a funny thing, right? It's how you use things.
Yeah. He's gonna get some chickens and goats.
They say that with intensive agriculture, you could actually feed a family of, I guess, 4 on an acre, but it has to be pretty intensive. You end up basically almost having to do vertical cropping kind of, but it can be done apparently.
I wanted to get chickens here, but yeah, I didn't get the okay. I was like, in the winter, I'll just put them in the shed with a heat lamp. They'll be good.
Right. Joel, what do you think about every time you come on here, I ask the same question, but I feel like every single time you come on here, the scene is a little bit different. Where do you see the future of cannabis going? We were talking yesterday about, or what was it? Yeah, it was yesterday, last night. We were talking about, I guess I was kind of bitching about how I see things going with some of these sort of low-hanging fruit companies. I guess I don't mean to talk shit about them necessarily, but like I don't necessarily like the idea that cookies is going to be the dominant shop around the country and around the world, right? Like I don't have any problem with them. They didn't do anything to me or some shit, right? Like I've heard that they're nice people and whatever, but I'm like, I don't like the weed there. I'm never going to shop there. Every time I have shopped there, I've been massively disappointed. Like I was talking about this yesterday. I was like, if someone on the show wanted to give me a gift of weed, I'd be like, let's go to a different dispensary so you can actually not waste your money, right? So like not only would I not spend the money there, but I wouldn't have someone else spend their money on me. That's the kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like that basically tells me that I'm not going to be a customer of theirs for the future. And so it disappoints me that that seems to be the dominant force or one of the dominant forces in cannabis. So I wonder what your thoughts are on the future of cannabis.
Well, I think it's going to be 2 ways. You're going to have the commercial market, and you're going to have the people that really like cannabis. It's going to be totally different things. You're going to have one that smokes cannabis because it's a popular thing to do, and there's be commercials for it kind of deal where it's like everyone's doing it, so let's smoke pot. People that actually love pot, and they're not going to go to a store and buy it. They're going to grow it, or their friends are going to grow it, and they're going to share back and forth. I think the future is going to be a long ways out. Still, we still have multiple states that aren't really normalized yet.
That's true.
There's still a lot of psyche of the country and the world that's not normalized. It's like you're drinking a beer. You could be at a stadium drinking a beer, but if everyone's at a football game whips out a joint, people are going to look at it like, oh my, he's smoking a joint. It's a football game. Meanwhile, there's 20 guys in the same row drinking beers they're handing out. So once that gets kind of normalized to where it's no big thing, I think you'll have the whole progression of how the beer industry went, where it was monopolized by large companies. People were drinking it and satisfied with it, and they started tasting what their friends were making themselves. Like, oh, I like that other stuff. I like the microbrew stuff. And then smaller companies started emerging out of that. Mom and pop organizations getting bigger and bigger till now it's more of a I wouldn't say even playing field. Obviously, the big companies still have a large lion's share of stuff, and they buy the smaller companies up.
What the big companies have been doing is buying the small companies. That's it.
You still have other companies that are smaller that still operate. Like right here, we have Russian River Brewery. We have the Pliny the Younger and Pliny the Elder. People travel from all over the world over here, sleep the fuck out to get a beer. So they only have 2 breweries in Sonoma County here. It's not like they're not huge like that where they're everywhere. You can't get it everywhere, but you can get it quite a few places.
Speaking of not a fecal note, but like a fermented kind of a little, just a touch of a foul note. Those Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Younger. That basically it's a really really tasty beer. You think maybe that it's going to be some weird beer or something, but no, it's just a really tasty beer. But it definitely has a little bit of a funky note to it. It's kind of funny. They have it on tap a lot of times in Portland because Portland is a big time for beer. Sorry, go ahead. I was interrupting.
It's just like there was a beer I used to get in Indiana called Bubblegum Head. I used to get it. The bottle was made in Indiana. It was delicious. I can't find it anywhere out here. I don't know where it's made at anymore, but that was the same kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I think as the public in general becomes more knowledgeable about what they like, you're going to have crowds that just shift towards the cheap dispensary stuff where they're going to drive home on a Friday night and pick up an eighth of something for the weekend for the barbecue or whatever. And that's what they do when they smoke. And you have people that are going to go to the small shops and get stuff because they like higher quality because their friends grow this and that. They might have friends that are really love cannabis. So you're going to have places for higher end shops too. That might not be big multi-brand. And I think what you're going to have is a large swath of it still in this country is going to be grow your own, because it grows like a weed. It's not that hard to grow decent cannabis for yourself, especially when you compare.
I was just going to say, I don't think I have the budget for the high-end weed, like they always talk about the allegedly super high quality weed you can get for high-end prices, but anytime I actually have gotten top shelf weed, I've still been disappointed. It's not as good as what you can grow yourself, basically, right? Even your old
More about
6
the
month
crowd buying it.
old weed,
You'll see the
8 month
parking
old
lot
weed,
all
whatever, is still going to be better.
W's lined up going to buy the high end bud. It's more of a status symbol for a lot of those people, I believe, than actually that they know about the quality.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's the same thing too, like when you're talking about true high-end weed or high quality weed, I guess is what I would say, more than high-end weed, really. It's going to have a certain component of a good cure and or freshness, right? So you could either be really fresh or really, really well cured. Both of those are really complicated things to achieve. Then the weed itself has to be really good, on and on and on. Like basically you're making it such that, again, I've said this before, only home growers can accomplish this kind of weed, really. Realistically, only home growers could do it. Seriously.
No, if it's that good, like, this is damn good. I ain't selling this shit, especially for the prices the shops want to pay you. They're not going to pay you what you want for it if it's that good. You're like, screw that. I only got 2 pounds of this shit. I'm smoking this whole 2 pounds in my head. It's good. I share it with friends.
That's it. No, the lemon tree that I cut down, it's so just ridiculously loud. It's so freaking loud. I just handed it to my friend to smell, and just her eyes lit up. Like not a weed person who knows it's lemon tree or whatever else. Just her eye, just pure joy. It was really satisfying to see that because it was just pure joy. Like, wow, this smells like, I think she said like lemon candy. She said lemon candy, right? And I don't know. Everyone has a different description probably for the different strains and for exactly, lemon tree too. Probably people would describe it differently. But yeah, lemon candy. That's a fair fucking description, and it's that vibrantly loud that a non-weed person can smell it and be like, oh my God, that smells like lemon candy. Not. How do I put this? I detect notes and hints of lemon. No, fuck off. It has to be,
Exactly.
I don't know. There's such a gulf between the really truly high quality cannabis and then basically everything else that it's a little bit depressing sometimes to talk about it because you're like, how do you put this into words what this is? How do you express a nug that basically is so loud you can't contain it in a Ziploc bag, right? Like, how do you describe that? I don't know, because nothing in the dispensary is like that, right? Like, so most people that are listening, unless they've grown their own weed, they can't kind of comprehend that. I don't know.
It's rare to find that because a lot of the time they're buying mass quantities, and if you can catch something, either you got to catch it coming in the store. You know what I mean? And that's usually when you'll get the freshest of some of the high end.
Maybe you're right? Like maybe this is me being.
No, I agree with you.
Judgmental.
Your internet's shitting the bed.
Some of the drops, so to speak, right? Like if there's really a good product that's dropped, chances are it goes quick, right? So maybe my internet's poopy again, but yeah, maybe I've missed out on the spectacular flower drops.
But I don't know. You've gone to a Heady Glass meetup and the Heady Rosins, like a lot of those kids are into shoes, into Supreme, you know what I mean? They're collectibles. Like that's what it's about. It's just like North Star was saying, it's a symbol. It's not a symbol. Just like any designer.
Everyone's got to outdo somebody else. Who's got the better stuff? Who's got the cooler
love
stuff?
That shiny metallic bag with a cool design on it, saying like designer junkie or whatever.
Yeah.
Catch people's eye, bro.
Oh my God! Now the big hit is the Stanley mug.
I've seen videos of inside stores. We look for it. It's just Mylar bags
So
everywhere. It's
cringy.
hard to look at artwork. You don't see
Yeah.
buds.
Insulated Stanley.
I've seen those. I like these little jars. So I use these little jars for like quarters and stuff. I got Gorilla Glue in here right now.
I can tell if my internet. Can you guys hear me or what? My freaking.
No,
I don't know. I got to get a new router because the internet is not slow, but the router is just terrible. I'm literally a couple feet from the freaking router. Anyway, what was I going to say? I was talking about the one of the big trends, not the only trend that's going on these days, but Stanley coffee mugs, basically. And everybody has to get the collectible Stanley mugs. And Stanley has been so clever about this in creating these completely artificially scarce limited edition mug.
Well,
I
the
mean, it's
Valentine's
a fucking
Day
Stanley mug. They sold them at Walmart like last year. They probably still sell them at Walmart, right? But
Sorry,
now, oh my
sorry.
God, you got to get the latest drop because it's pink and purple and fucking
Yeah, it was
plaid and
pink
whatever
one.
the shit. Genius, right? They basically made something that people wouldn't buy normally. They're like, oh my God, I gotta get 10.
That's like the fucking sports card game, the Pokemon card. Like, dude, shoes are the worst.
Yeah.
Like, if you try to get one of these new pair of Nikes, people are paying for bots on a computer, like fake people to enter to win shoes. How am I gonna, me by myself, like I'm not gonna pay extra money to win a pair of shoes that I want to wear. Like, it's crazy to think like the extent to like some of these items that I'm like, it's a pair of shoes. Like Louis Vuitton and Nike released something, and they're getting like $15,000 for them.
Oh my God.
Like, it's shoes. It's fucking shoes. Wear them, you beat them up. Like, I skateboard and stuff. So, like, my shoes never lasted. So, I'm not going to go. If I got them for $120, okay, I'll wear them. But I'm not going to the, like, after resale market to buy fucking, like, the same shoe, you know, for double, triple the money. Because I wear them. Same thing with the weed. People line up at Cookies all the time when they open. Like, there was a line down 2 blocks here when they opened.
No, interesting points. Yeah. What am I trying to say? What a weird high on this. It basically like doesn't hit me and then it kind of creeps up on me like 10 minutes later and I'm like, what was I talking about? I don't like I can't keep my thoughts in mode. I'm like, oh, I was gonna say this one thing and then it just evaporates. Fuck was I gonna say? Oh, anyway, well, I guess I was gonna respond to you, but now I don't remember. Interesting thoughts smashed. Fucking papaya strikes again. Questions for the guest in chat. Go ahead, Orson.
The legalization is all the commercialization of it and the way it's marketed to people that are being new to the industry. So they haven't grown up with smoking with their brother or pinching out of their dad's stash or something. But now it's getting commercialized where they're just getting vape pens and shit like that as their first experience smoking cannabis. And, there's marshmallow flavored or something ridiculous like that. It changes people's expectations. It's just
We're having a little convo right before we came on with D Zombie, and we were talking about those batteries and people just throwing them away carelessly. I'm like, those things will explode if you crack them the wrong way. Like,
heavy shit, they're toxic.
People, and I'm not gonna lie, I use a vape. Like, I don't really like the carts. I'd rather just buy the oil and vape the oil itself. So little pens like this for me are perfect. I can shove it full of oil, bring it with me to a concert, and just looks like a nicotine stick.
We were just saying in the chat. Gosh, I really don't think my internet's working. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah.
Keep asking 50 freaking times during this goddamn show. I gotta replace this freaking router. It's ridiculous. I think it was VT that was saying smoking is never really going to take off at ball games and stuff, which I hate to admit is true.
Yeah,
because
smoking Errol's kind of like,
Basically, it's going to be like cigarette smoking. People aren't going to want that secondhand smoking. Maybe vaping, I don't know. Maybe people have a section for vaping. I don't know.
That'd be
But
funny.
that's one of the reasons why, like drinking a beer, he was saying, drinking a beer
Bro,
doesn't affect the person next to you. What's that?
yeah.
Oh, am I roboting again?
the vape bro section.
Yeah, right. The cloud puffing. Bro, look at the sick clouds, bro. Am I frozen? God damn it,
No, you're
CTC
good.
saying I'm frozen.
Good.
All
Uh,
right.
when you go to Vegas and stuff, Vegas is one of the only airports that has like smoking sections inside the airport.
Hmm.
Like you can go gamble with like where the slot machine is. There's a bunch of little slot machines in there. The doors open, and in that little area, you're allowed to smoke, vape, whatever. I think more places should do that for cannabis. Like set a little area up. Like it needs to be more like accepted more. Like you don't see people going out and getting into fights because they're too stoned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
cannabis lounges would do better than bars nowadays. Some bars, not all bars, obviously.
Well, they make cannabis drinks too. Maybe they should offer cannabis drinks at the bar and cannabis drinks at the ball
Hmm.
game. And cannabis sodas.
Yeah,
That
they
was,
gotta do it though, because some of those aren't that. Yeah, I've tried a lot of cannabis beverages, and they can really go wrong.
I was just thinking about how long time. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll say only beverage I really that was good for me for cannabis ones were hot chocolate ones. They had this company made them. They had hash oil in the chocolate and all, and
Oh, right on.
it's chocolate. So it was really tasty, but it was still like 250 milligrams too. So it was a nice freaking punch.
So my buddy makes 1,000 milligram, like it's in like a 5 hour energy shot,
Oh,
and I took one to the dome, and I was like so high that night. Normally they say 1,000, and I'm like, all right, there's probably like 800, maybe. You know that they're not really 1,000 in here. This one definitely had 1,000 milligrams in it. Fucking knocked out. I'm like greened out at home. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I've been that high. I always talk about this. I wish I could get this guy's. I don't think he makes these pastries anymore because the whole market's changed. It used to be medical and everything else. But this guy used to go to some of the little cannabis events and he used to sell kind of cannabis brownie cookies. I don't know how to even describe it because it was kind of a cakey cookie basically. It was more of a cakey brown. I don't know, whatever. It's very unique. But they were about 11 or maybe even 1,200 milligrams, something like that, and also so delicious that you couldn't stop fucking eating them. So like you'd find yourself having eaten a couple of them and just like walking sideways, like wobbling around. It was good times. It was pretty fun.
the edibles like that can do you. And I used to make a called an ooey gooey cake. It's pretty much like half a brownie and half cheesecake, both medicated mixed together. And it was a whole pound of butter in that sucker. It was a
Oh
potent.
my.
And I had friends come over that just smoke a little bit here and there. And I'd warn, don't have a little piece if you want some edible. Don't have much. No, he's
Right,
sweet. 3 pieces of it, up all night, looking in the mirror himself, bugging out. But we used to make individual to sell them at shows. Same thing, like Weekend Warrior at a show, and they were his buddies, and they
Right.
oh, the whole thing, like don't do it. They made them. They were 600 milligrams a piece. Like eating the
Oh
whole thing,
my.
like real 600 milligrams, dude, not like bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
His buddies brought him back the next day, like dude, he was fucked up all night. He's still fucking on it now.
Oh my freaking God.
Oh, dude, don't eat the whole thing.
God, I know a lot of people that have these really tiny tolerances. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can get high off one puff or, just a tiny little bit of an edible, like a 10 milligram edible is a lot. They'll cut it in half or in three quarters or whatever. I'm like, I can't even feel a 10 milligram edible. Are you serious? Anyway, how funny is that?
Into shows when dabbing just came out, people were like, "Oh, cannabis show, yay!"
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I smoke joints on the weekend. I mean, I'll have a
yeah,
dab
yeah.
and out cold and right falling over. People passing out, pissing their pants. I mean, it was some nonsense for the people. Weekend Warriors getting in, trying to take big dab of shatter or eating the edibles. They were just
Uh,
every show you had people that were just blacked out here and there.
what was this, about 7 years ago or so? I won the tickets to the High Times Cannabis Cup, actually at your neck of the woods down in Santa Rosa, and from I don't know if they're still in business or not, but Ocean Grown, whatever, they used to have a show on YouTube and stuff, and so like something on YouTube that I won. I went down there, and I don't have a tiny tolerance or anything. I normally smoke joints, and back then I still smoke joints and whatever, but I hadn't ever really dabbed that much before, maybe a couple dabs here and there. And like you say, they were giving out dabs at every single booth. I got so freaking high. I got so high that at some point I was wearing shorts. My shorts split open somehow. I don't know where or how, but they split open. So I was walking with my boxer shorts, like in my back, just kind of hanging out. That's how high I got. I got pretty high.
Oh. You go by the booth, have like 6, 7 slabs of shatter all sitting
Oh,
out.
for real. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All the different flavors and everything. Oh my God. And the worst is, like you say, a lot of the guys, I don't know, all the guys have to be like really tough, right? Because the traditionally the booths would attract guys, because a lot of the customers are guys. They would hire booth girls to run the booths, right? So basically all the people doing the dabbing basically were like fairly attractive young women, basically. And these young women basically were, I don't know, just that's their job, right? They didn't care. They didn't care what these guys do or not. But the guys, of course, they have to be guys, so they have to be really impressive. So they give me a big dab, and none of them could finish the big dab, and so these poor girls would have to finish the dabs or basically clear the bong out for them. Oh my God! So the girls were getting so freaking high. It was honestly hilarious to see all of that. Anyway, and also kind of gross because like the girls have to clean out the bong so the next guy. Oh my God! Whatever.
Oh,
Anyway.
gross. I remember the last Emerald Cup we did was like a 2017 one where they had it under the riding arena area. It was all dirt floor, and there was literally people that had like 4 or 5 slabs sitting on a table, and it was dusty as hell in there. Like I can't imagine the end of the night their slabs had to have like a 1/4 inch of dust on them of all the cow shit and the dirt from the ground getting kicked up everywhere. I was like, oh, keep that shit covered up, man. It's dusty as fucking here. There's people walking
That's
all
how
over.
they test high for terpenes, probably. Look, you've got cow shitting.
Cow shit turd.
Where it comes from. All that.
Alpha bovine. That's it. CTC says, I don't have time for all you guys' edible stuff. I just take the block of coconut oil and bite right out of it.
Oh.
Awesome.
Just take a spoonful of the coconut butter. Just call it good. That's
I used to make
4,700 milligrams. What's
I
that,
used to
Smash?
make like cannabis cappuccinos.
I've heard of those.
I used to use coconut oil because I whatever. I'd make like a really concentrated espresso, and then I'd put a whole bunch of fucking cannabis oil in it, and then a little bit of cream, a little bit of I'd use sugar in the brown sugar.
Yeah.
And it was good. It hit like I don't
I'm
know.
actually surprised. I bet the answer is that it's too difficult of a supply chain. I was going to say I'm surprised that nobody sells infused milk because you can actually infuse cannabis into milk. It's got a lot of fat in it, right? It's milk fat, right? You can make cheese out of it and everything else. It's actually very readily infused and very bioavailable. I think it's one of the more efficient. Ironically, bacon fat is very good for infusing. Also, all animal fats, butter, milk fat, stuff like that. So I was just thinking to myself, like, if you wanted to, you could literally make cannabis cappuccinos by infusing the milk with cannabis oil and then literally frothing the milk. Just don't scald. Like, I guess it's the same thing with the cappuccino. You're not supposed to scald the milk. So just don't scald it and you're not going to destroy the cannabinoids, basically. You could literally make a medicated cappuccino. That would be baller. Holy shit. How have I never seen that?
Are almost as good as a cigarette and coffee.
No, seriously. Have you guys ever seen a medicated cappuccino? I don't think I ever have. Like where the milk was medicated?
I've seen the hot chocolates and stuff. I've heard of people doing medicated creamer before, but I've never actually had it.
I was just thinking it probably is too difficult to sell because you'd have to have a fridge to sell the medicated milk and shit. Who's going to have a special milk fridge at the dispensary? That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But oh man, that would be yummy. Holy cow. Well, anyway, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. What's that, Smash? Oh, I could probably show off Sour Morgana here. My lights just turned on too.
I did too.
Hardcore is saying women love the coconut.
Did ultra pasteurized milk, you can make it shelf stable, actually.
There you go.
That would work.
They sell ultra pasteurized milk in Australia and stuff. I guess in Europe too, now that I think about it.
On my pantry.
Huh.
We get it, you can get it here.
There you go. Right on. CTC. Oh, CTC still has some of ocean grown. I think I still have some ocean grown seeds too somewhere. I think I have like half a pack of that Alien Rift. Speaking of the like burned rubber, I remember that was a long, long time ago, and I remember when I was handing out nugs of that you grow. Oh,
Breaking
the
up.
burned rubber smell. It comes from
I
the
thought it
weed.
was my internet.
Am I breaking up again? God freaking damn it!
Mine or that.
Hold on.
It's fucking internet. I swear to
Shut the
shit.
fans off, so it's not crazy
I
loud.
think it's mine.
It
Okay,
is
sorry.
yours.
Oh, right on. Go for it,
You
Spice.
froze for a second. Flip the camera. So yeah, this is a room I just built. Um, flowering right now. Some of my
Right.
strains and stuff. Then there's a little bit of mix. This is Critical Kush. Um, you ever heard of Larry Legends?
No.
I got I got a pack from Masonics Free Seed Day from one of the fellow people that come on the show. Shout out Bud Kilowatt, and it had a strawberry apricot to purple punch, and it sounded good, so I popped it. That's what this little short guy is. Uh, right here's my strain.
Grandpa Larry is what Purple Punch is.
Oh, really? See, I don't really know. I know what the crosses are, but I don't really like. I don't know histories that well. Yeah, pretty stoked. Looks good. I've been flowering for about 3 weeks now.
What's the one in the front right there to the right?
This one?
Yeah.
This is Critical Kush.
It's stacking up nice there.
Then this is Chemdog across the Chem 91 Calio. There's actually 3 different plants in here. Oh, let me go to the other side. So there's 3 different plants in this 10 gallon. I put up the oopsie, 315 CMH just to kind of fill the gap for now because I want to expand. I want this whole thing to be plants at one point. But I started with what I had, what I could build. I needed to get some flour. I'm sick of buying weed too, so I flipped.
Hell yeah.
Almost like
Are you
growing
back
money
yet?
on trees. What's that?
Oh, I was saying, are you back yet?
Oh, yeah, my internet's fucking bullsack, and I didn't even connect. I'm connected my phone basically just through the cell network because my Wi-Fi is so crappy. So yeah, maybe I'll go show off Sour Morgana here in a little bit. Nice looking
I'm
stack
gonna
in
go
there.
grab my water real quick.
Hmm. Gonna be some nice terps on a lot of that stuff. Um, what was I going to say? That critical kush comes up a lot. I really like to work with that. I really want to get Bud Kilowatt has recently picked up. Bud Kilowatt's a regular on this show. You probably know him, North Star. He's been on the show before when you've been on here. He's a deadhead. Perhaps you remember that. Anyway, he's gotten Bubba Kush lately, the real old cut, I guess. And I was like, oh shit, I should ask him for that. That'd be a real nice cut to work with. A really annoyingly small. He was talking about how it's definitely an old school cut because it's small, it veggies slowly, doesn't stretch on and on. There's a lot of things kind of wrong with it, but of course a lot of things right with it, obviously as well. So anyway, I don't know why I'm bringing that up exactly, but as we stare at. All right, I'm going to remove the spotlight. I was like, something's going to happen, but no, nothing's really happening. It was literally just, okay, here he comes. He's going to spray or something. All right.
Oh,
Go in the other room here in a second.
I got a spray.
Been great having you on, North Star, by the way. What was I going to say? A lot of times we go until about 1:20 or so. So if that's the case, then we're, wrapping up here. We certainly can go a little bit longer. That kind of depends on the people in the chat if they hop on and sort of join the conversation. There we go. That's working now.
it's pretty nice out. It was beautiful yesterday.
Oh, it's gorgeous day today too. Yeah. It's still too cold to put out vegetables. I've got some tomato seedlings that I keep taking out every day and then bring it back in because at night it's still a little bit too cold for them. It gets to be like 34, 35 degrees. But man, soon enough, it's going to be warm enough that I could probably transplant them outside. I can't wait. That's going to be fun. Finally going
I
to have a
haven't
bunch of
decided
tomatoes and
what
stuff
I
this year.
want to. Well, I know what cannabis I'm doing this year outdoors, but I want to do some other plants too.
Hmm.
I've been trying to grow sunflowers for like 4 years. I can never get them to go.
Interesting. Do the birds get them first or what?
I think I'm not putting them in enough sun. I
Enough
put them
what?
with my cannabis plant, so I figured
Oh.
it'd be all right.
Hmm.
Well, if I may, I got some promotions I want to like to get out there.
Please, go for it.
420 is coming up, so we have a 420 sale starting soon,
Sweet.
and tomorrow's my birthday, so we're actually gonna kick
Holy
the sale.
cannoli.
Yeah, turning 46 tomorrow. Never
Wow.
thought I'd before.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, we're basically giving out lots of free seeds with everything. Starting tomorrow, being as my birthday, we're gonna do from tomorrow to the end of the week an extra 10-pack on top of all the other stuff we're gonna kick off. So that's gonna be not released anywhere. It's the Monkey Knuckle. That is Gorilla Glue 4 times the salt, which is Bubba Kush times zest. So it's Gorilla Glue times Bubba Kush times Calio times Alcatraz OG.
That sounds great. Wow.
And then we got right now our freebie of the month is Quirkle. Is a 10-pack of Quirkle with every order. And then the 420 sales kicks off tomorrow. On top of that, Monkey Knuckle pack is a 10-pack also. We also going to give you out 10-pack of Grape Inferno, which is the Nepali OG, Fire OG crossed with Quirkle. Zest OG, which is the Zest back cross to the Alcatraz male. Going to have King Pakal, which is Af Gooey times Chilumbian. And Boyata Breeze, which is UK cheese back cross. It's UK's times Chilumbian. All those are all 10-packs. So basically, from now to tomorrow for my birthday through the weekend, it's going to be 50 extra free seeds with every order on top of the 10-pack that you already have. Awesome. Free seeds. And then after the birthday, it's going to just be the whole 420 sale as normal, which is still 40 more seeds on top of the other 10-pack. So it's 50 seeds total.
Sweet.
420. So there's no codes needed or anything. I've been loading up clones on the site, so there's more clones up there. Most is original stuff. So it's like the Dark Wood, the Blood Moon, Phantom Zone, lots of fun stuff to play with. And it's time of year, 420. Most people should have their stuff already, but if you've been waiting, slacking off, not ready to get seeds going yet, it's a hard time to pass up.
Crazy good deal. Wow. Sweet. Ladies and germs, you heard it here first. I'm going to go walk into the other room and show off Sour Morgana before I chop her down here. I guess technically I think I could still show a little bit of I guess I haven't chopped down the surf grape. We'll see what's in there right now. Hopefully I'll hear you guys just fine. So I'm switching headphones.
That's a good ass deal. And happy birthday, since I'm not going to see you tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, early happy birthday. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Well, what's your favorite strain?
Looking forward to taking it easy, hopefully.
Right.
What's your favorite strain, North Star?
My favorite strain?
Yeah.
I really like Colombian type stuff. I like the Colombian. And then same time, I like OG stuff. So it depends on really my mood. In the mornings, I usually go for something more with a Colombian lean to it of some sort, whether it be a Colombian or a Buñuelo, something like that. And then in the evenings, I go for something more OG, like a death row or a lethal injection, something of that sort.
That's awesome. Those are the two I just popped. The death row and the lethal injection.
Good, yeah, they're fucking great. I have a death row man ready to use soon here. He's just waiting. He's looking really good. It's be the next seed run I make.
Heck yeah. I like all that stuff you make. I look forward to everything. I will just look at all the menus every day. I'm like, dang, I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna get that one.
All
No, I
right.
want that one. Oh, that one.
I've grown a lot of North Star's gear. It's wonderful. By the way, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sweet. Right on. Right on. That's probably super bright here. Anyway, let me switch the camera, by the way, since I'm here, ladies and germs. This is actually, oh no, this is not from North Star. This was from, I don't remember anymore. This was the Cuvée F2, and then I crossed it to my Ruby Jack. Anyway, long story short, this is my Sour Morgana. This is one of my Sour Morganas. This is number 3. I'm so happy about this plant. You know, I've shown it off a couple of times, but fuck off. Look at that. Look at those nugs all the way down. And it keeps going, and it keeps going. Beautiful leaves, too. I know I'm talking,
Nice.
patting myself on the back. But every once in a while, you get a chance to do so when you have a plant like this. I normally don't pat myself on the back, but just this once I will. Look at that shit. Come on. Look at gorgeous. She's a little toasty, but I've been talking about this Oaxacan thunderfuck that everything is overhyped. Gave me years ago. Finally, I have some pictures of it. Finally, some videos of it. This is the one, basically the mother rather, to the Pacifica daisies that people have heard me talking. North Star's like, what are you talking about? Well, people in the chat have heard me talking about it. Anyway. And this is the last one I'll show off. The surf grape, tall as fuck. This is I think the tallest in the garden. I guess I haven't measured, but it's easily 6'4", 6'4", 6'5". Anyway, great pie to that Coot Special male that I've been talking about for a long time. I wish I'd put this plant in a better location because, as you can see, she really had to stretch to get any light. And, oh my, if I had actually put her under the light, she would have been a stunning plant like this Sour Morgana. But anyway, that's the garden there. I will be back to the computer in a second, ladies and germs.
Right.
Looking good. Good garden.
Just got done watering. I got stuff going in here too that is pretty cool. One of them's wedding cake, Dark Heart clone, crossed to Cindy 99 Brother Grimm. Then they took
Nice.
that plant and crossed it to their plant, Cindy Cake. So
Cool.
I think they're vets. They do a lot of donations around here. I always see them I'm from the East Coast. I'm in Massachusetts, so I think they're local to here, Purpose Genetics. But I'm gonna try to do like harvest 4 plants every month.
That's a good idea.
I'll keep you in
That
plenty of
perpetual
smoke.
harvest is wonderful.
Hopefully, and then progressively just add more and more space.
I'm getting ready to go through my taste testers. I just chopped down LA Confidential.
Oh, one of my favorites.
A little over a week ago. They're off the drying rack. They're in just right now, just not quite ready to snip the buds off the stems. They're getting just about there, but hopefully, like next week, I start taste testing through them. Looking forward to that. I haven't had them in a while. They're actually the LA Confidential, this pack I bought in Amsterdam from them at the 2006 Cup, I think it was. I only planted a few of them back then. I've been waiting all these years. I said I better get fucking planting. These things are not going to pop for me, but I got.
That's why I have Critical Kush going right now. I'm like, I only had like 5 fem seeds, and they were 7 years old. Only one of them popped. Kind of sad.
Well, I really had really good luck with the both the LA and the sour bubble. Both of them were over 14 years old, and both of them I had over 80% germ rates on both of them. So I was pretty happy
Yeah,
with.
I got those seeds before I started to really care about storing them. I thought I was
Mm.
gonna grow them faster than I bought them and stuff.
Ah,
And then I started to make seeds, and that threw another wrench in the fucking plan. So yeah, now I got them stored, nice dark cold spot. I don't pull them out too often.
Yeah, pulling them out to look at them is kind of bad for them, isn't it? Right?
yeah.
Like if you basically have them in a nice stable place, just leave them there. Take a picture of them or something and look at the pictures if you have to. But if you
Oh yeah,
keep pulling
right
them out in your
down.
living room or whatever, it's going to go up in temperature, down in temperature, up in temperature, down in temperature. Yeah.
Yeah, stability is key.
Huh.
I usually have
Yeah.
even my old stuff. I know I'm going to store it for a long time. I use airtight containers with desiccates
Mm.
and I have a refrigerator just for seed stuff.
Hmm.
Old stock is refrigerator, so it's refrigerator temperatures and dry.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I've ever asked you that. A lot of people store in freezers, but I've heard a few people say that they don't like freezers. Now I don't remember exactly why. I guess it's just more difficult, maybe. How do you like to store?
I've used freezers too, but the one thing the freezer got me when I stopped using the freezer is you have to desiccate very well before you freeze, or the
Mm.
expansion of the water can crack the seeds. That's not a problem. But then when you thaw them back out, you have condensation issues. It's a much more drastic issue of even going into the freezer to pull out a few seeds because of the drastic temperature change between the room you're
Mm.
in and the freezer. It's not quite as drastic from the refrigerator to the room.
Mm.
The temperatures swing that quickly. And then the whole mentality of having something in the freezer for deep freeze, I forget about it. I don't go look at
Mm.
plant it soon enough. I want to have it I want to plant these in 5 or 6 years, and I'm not start putting things off for. Oh, I'm going to save these for 20 years because then
Mm.
in 20 years now, who knows what the fuck I'll be doing
Mm.
or thinking. Not get planted at all. So I'm starting to get the fear that I have too many seeds. I'm never going to get to plant through enough of them. So I'm trying
Yeah,
to
right.
I'm trying to go through a lot of my old and explore through some of the old stuff. I've been same thing. I'm thinking I'll get to these eventually. Well, now eventually it's 15 years later. I better get to them now because eventually they're going to be no good. So
Yep, yep,
it'll
yep.
sleep in my mind. So I'm trying to catch up with a lot of older stuff, and that's probably the next couple of years going through a lot of the older stuff to catch up with, and then
Hmm.
there's always tomorrow to move forward with new things too.
Yeah, I suppose so. No,
Just to
you're
try
right.
to
You,
balance it. Oh,
you end up realizing you don't have all that much time. You have to actually go through it because I've had projects. It's kind of funny to think of it, but I've had projects that I feel like I'm still working on that 20 years go by, and I'm like, oh fuck, am I really still working on that project or not? I don't know, but in my head, it's still in progress. I better get going on that shit, right?
46, 40, 26. I've made seeds when I was 26, and they're still not
Yeah.
planted.
That's
Uh,
it. Wow,
that's so awesome.
it's crazy. Well, what are you gonna do?
Um,
I guess speaking of which,
Well,
let's move on with our days, my friends. Let's get to it and all that kind of stuff. What were you gonna say, North Star?
I meant I'll get some lunch myself.
There we
My
go.
stuff.
Perfect timing. Happy early birthday and a wonderful deal you're having there. I hope people go check out the site. What's the website again to go check out those deals?
Geneticsupply.com.
Perfect. Wonderful. Great to see you, North Star. Great to see you. Joel, as you said. And hopefully best wishes, everybody. Go for it.
I'll be popping more often. I'll make an effort to get on here.
Sweet. Right on.
With
We'll
all you.
keep you to it. We'll keep you to it. Thanks. Nice to see you, North Star. Good to see you. Cheers.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next? Green Fingers, you look
I'll go
like
next.
you're itching for it. Go for it.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, man. Later.
Out for you. Thanks for having us.
Cheers, dude. Yeah, man. Good to see you. Go for it, Smashed. Oh, you're muted, bud. Still muted. Oh, we cannot hear you. Cannot hear you.
Oh, my bad.
There we go.
Come hang out Saturday for D's Takeover. Tomorrow we do poker. I actually show it on my channel. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out. Other than that, hope you have a great day. Be safe,
Sweet.
everyone. See you later.
Cheers, dude. Later,
Excuse me.
Smash.
Hope you have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, I always forget that frickin' poker game, and then I'll end up coming home or turning on YouTube or something. And I'm like, oh, I fucking see Smash Channel. I'm like, damn it, poker again, fucking bullsack. It's always when they're wrapping up. Anyway, one day maybe I'll make it in time. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for joining the show. I think you guys had a great show I was going to say, I think you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if you enjoyed it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you hated every single minute of it. But I know you had a good show to enjoy if you were there to enjoy it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I should back out of that sentence. None of it makes any sense. But it was a fun discussion with North Star, just the same. Ladies and gentlemen, always a pleasure to talk to him. I hope he does come back on the show more often. It's always a pleasure to see him. If you have very little experience with North Star, exceptional breeder. He's been doing it for a super long time, and I hope he continues for a much longer time. I'd really like to think that cannabis will have people like him, and I guess I hope to think people like me long into the future. It seems sometimes that is becoming rare, or maybe not. Maybe that's just the cynical take on things. But I know that I hope that people like North Star are active in cannabis for a long time to come. Don't forget to check out his deal. I honestly, compared to that deal, I can't even really practically hype my own website. But I hope you do visit my website if you could. Check out some merch, perhaps, to take a look at Sour Morgana or some of the other t-shirts on offer there. I don't know why I'm speaking so weirdly, but I am. Anyway, we can just blame the weed, even though I'm not that high anymore, because I told you that papaya it hits, but then it like just goes away. It's such a funny freaking weed. Anyway, I guess I'll stop babbling. Ladies and germs, go check out North Star's amazing deal. And then, of course, check out my website for merch and genetic preservation kits. I don't know that I'm going to be, it's kind of awkward timing. I have to go to California and do some stuff down there. And I'm already going to have my garden taken care of. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I have the chance to do a 420 deal. Maybe I'll do a freaking May deal or some shit as compensation. Maybe we'll have an even better 710 deal as a result because I'm just not even going to be here. But we'll figure it out. I don't know. Maybe there's something I can do. It occurred to me that I might actually be in Los Angeles around Free Seed Day. That would be fun. Maybe I can text Bud and see if I can join up with them. Be super fun to meet Bud. I was thinking I was going to have to drive down to San Diego, but maybe I can meet him at Free Seed Day. That would be kind of fun too. Fuck. What else was I was gonna? What fuck else was I going to say? I feel like there was something in specific, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Well, I guess since I can't think of it, we'll have to save it for another time. Join us, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday for the takeover. I usually ask him if he's going to do it, but it's pretty much always been yes. So we're just going to assume that he's going to do it. So if D doesn't do it, I guess he'll let you know. But otherwise, it's going to happen. Well, there he is in the chat right there. If D says no, I'm not going to do it, then we'll have it from the zombie's mouth, so to speak. Other than that, ladies and germs, thanks very much for joining us. Who's in the chat here? J5 still hanging. Cake in a Cup is still hanging. VT, of course. Midwest Outlaw, good to see you. The inimitable D Zombie, of course. Hardcore's hanging with us. Jack Beanstalk. Who else in here? Of course, Sultan C Seeds. Always a pleasure to see you. Green Fingers. Who else in here? Christoph is hanging as well. Anyway, folks, whoever's hanging, lurkers, non-lurkers, all of y'all. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation with North Star. If you have questions or comments or concerns or whatever for us in the future, please let us know. Email me, fumidor@chronictable.com. Other than that, I guess that's it, ladies and germs. Thanks very much for hanging. Be kind, be decent, be gentle. Don't be fucking pricks, dicks, or lunatics. Until we meet again, I think I already said puff something wonderful, but if I didn't, puff something wonderful. And until we meet again,